Where's the music? Where's the music? Ah! Okay. There's the music. All right. Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy HMK. And get ready to go ahead and dive deep into the fifth dimension. We are going to be talking about all things The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. And today we are joined by another awesome Zelda content creator, a good friend of mine. Everyone, please welcome Dr. Wily. How you doing today, good sir?
Hello, everybody. Hello. Oh, what a beautiful time this is. Yeah, well, I'm doing great, actually.
I hope you are. And I don't know if you can see on the screen, I don't know that I have my stream up, but I'm like, you know what, for the Zelda stream, since it's you and me, I decided to bust out the hat. And I'm like, you know what, I'm not styling my hair today, I'm like...
Just like the pub crawl.
Just what?
Just like the pub crawl.
Yeah, the pub crawl. You still have your hat?
I don't know, actually. I have no idea what the fuck it is.
Oh, my God. But, yeah, so you all know who you are really quick as I start to get this beer going.
Well, my name is Dr. Wily. I do a lot of Legend of Zelda content and some lovely sprinkles of Super Mario on the side. People seem to like that too. Mostly theory stuff, actually. And some top 5, top 10 to change the mood every now and then, otherwise it becomes a bit stale, I would say.
Right. But I mean, like, yeah. I love all your videos, man. And I love the fact that you veer off Zelda every now and again. I'm like, yo, this man has it. But for stream's sake, you know, Dr. Wily, that's 4 syllables. You know, it's cool I call you your name.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Alright, cool, Taima. Alright, so yeah, me and Taima, and you can call me by my name if you want to on stream, it's fine. Me and Taima go way back, and we actually finally fucking met at PAX East this year, and I found, like, this is definitely not a try, man, trust me, this is love. I found, right. I found a kindred spirit in which I finally found another Zelda tuber who isn't a fucking giant.
Hey, what? Hey, what the hell? What the hell? I'm being set up.
No,
this is a setup.
Listen,
I am.
Alright, go ahead.
Alright. I'm from the Netherlands. We are pretty tall on average. I'm not like 195 centimeters, which is like 6'3" or something. I'm just like 6'1", you know. I'm just not as tall as the Norwegian giant Conrad and from Commonwealth Realm, or the UK Highlander giant Zeltic from the UK.
But it's like, you can't even say that because we have Luke and he's huge. And
yeah, I don't know. Luke just, I don't know. He ate another person in Chicago.
Oh my, nah. Man, like every time I'm like, yo, everyone here like that. So it was nice. It was nice. Oh boy. But
I'm glad
yeah.
I gave you some confidence back.
I know. I remember I opened the door and I'm like, oh my god! I saw Zeltic and I'm like, you're huge. I'm like, oh, Taima, yes. Comfort, like.
Yeah,
oh
the two of them are pretty freaking big.
Yeah.
All the Zelda tubers are actually quite tall on average.
Right? Like
they don't
really
score
are.
that bad.
Man. But yeah, going off of that, you know, Dr. Wily, Taima knows that a big reason why I wanted to start the Fifth Dimension podcast, it literally veers off something that happened with us at PAX East during a very famous pub crawl, which was put together by Austin John Plays. Yo, thank you so much for putting it together. That was such a good idea. And then when we were going from bar to bar, as we were drinking, we just started talking smack to each other, and we just started talking about Zelda. Like, super comfy, super freeform, and I'm like, this is it. So that's why I wanted to create like a type of podcast like that, and here we are, the Fifth Dimension. Holy shit!
We are born.
Yeah,
we are here. I will say though, that was a woozy night.
Oh, that night was great, man. I'm glad everyone
ended up... I was already kind of on the edge of the chart, not off it, but on the edge of it. Oof.
Yo, I'm so glad everything worked out okay on that, but like, you know. Like,
yeah, that was a wild night.
Yeah, we'll tell that story later. But when it comes to the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, you know, a lot of people claim that, I mean, there's another contender in Twilight Princess, but a lot of people claim that Majora's Mask is indeed the darkest Zelda game of all time. And I'm like, I agree. But, the thing is, from my opinion, and I feel that we can bounce off this really quickly, is that Twilight Princess, it's very dark in its own right, but there's different types of darkness, right? Majora's Mask deals with more psychological, horror aspects, like dark, twisted themes, while, Twilight Princess is a lot more grounded. It deals with war. It's very thematically dark. It's mature. That's the type of darkness it deals with. It doesn't beat around the bush about how dark and mature, Twilight Princess. It deals with war. It deals with the fallout of, executions. It gets into really, big boy themes. But Majora's Mask is just out there. It's wild, Breath of the Wild. But what do you have to say about that, Wily?
Majora's Mask is, I would say, very abstract, which Twilight Princess isn't that as much. It's still odd in ways, but it's not as abstract and out there, And I think the big difference between Twilight Princess and Majora's Mask as well is nuance. I think Majora's Mask has a lot of nuance in how it brings things, and sometimes it just gives you a little shred of something, or it doesn't even acknowledge it, but if you really think about it, it has certain implications. And in Twilight Princess, it's more straightforward, terrible things happened, or certain events happen and you just know about everything. It's not, you don't have to look for it. It's all in the open. While Majora's Mask is more hidden ones.
You gotta piece everything together.
Yeah.
Man. But, when it comes to, the aspects of how dark Majora's Mask can be, because Majora's Mask is that one game. Breath of the Wild kind of messed around with that, but Majora's Mask, since it ran with the 3-day system, is a very big example of a living, breathing world in which, during these 3 days, people go about their lives in a certain way, everyone feels so alive. The Bomber's Notebook tells you everything that's going on with the world and stuff, and how your certain actions can change the course of that specific course of history during your repeated cycles of the 3-day run. And then it's thanks to these characters that it's not outright, they don't tell you outright of what's going on, but seeing how these characters could be interconnected, then you start learning everybody's story when you put 2 and 2 together. You get the story, obviously, something that's a focal point with a lot of people's stories is the story between Anju and Kaifei, right? And then you find out that Anju is best friends with Crimea, and then you find out that Kaifei's parents are literally, the mayor and Madam Mayor of Clocktown. And then there's a lot of things going around with the concept of Kaifei's disappearance and whatnot, and how it affects and adds this ripple effect throughout almost everyone in Clocktown. And then, that's not to go without saying about other aspects, which includes the Deku Butler, in which we find out that, he had a son, and then we kind of got an idea of who that son was, and then basically the ending kind of confirmed it for us, didn't it, Wily?
Yeah, the game is just, there's so many things in the game, and it's just it all comes down to detail, because it's just 3 days. You can, and it needs to be a full game, but it's only 3 days, and originally was 7, of course, so they cut it down. But because of that, they could put a lot of detail in, every side character was connected to the rest of them. And there are so many different little stories that you only know through just reading the dialogue of different characters and piecing together what kind of events transpired and what they talked about when they mentioned those said events, or hinted towards them in some ways. Crimea is a good example of that, because there's a whole angle that Cafe and Crimea were having something going on, but he was also getting married, and it was that kind of thing. But you only knew that through reading the dialogue, otherwise you wouldn't know it all.
Right. Because, it like you said, for Twilight Princess is in your face, but Majora's Mask is not. So here's a question, Wily, Taima. What is your favorite aspect of Majora's Mask?
What do I like about Majora Masky?
Majora Masky, okay.
I think I value one thing a lot in video games, and the more I play video games, the more I learn that, and that's world building. If the world building is good, and I'm immersed, and I'm like, oh, I actually give a damn about anything that's happening right now,
right,
then I enjoy the game a lot more. And I have that with, there are a few games out there that can create that, like The Last of Us can create that, the Metro series, in my opinion, does a really good job at like getting you immersed into the world and everything. And Majora's Mask is also a great example of that, because you start to understand the characters and you get a bond with them, and you see that it's a lot more complicated than you would ever imagine, especially for that time. My lord, what the hell people from 2000 must have been shocked with the depth of that game.
Right. Oh man, like it was crazy, and for Nintendo to literally shit out that game within 2 years after Ocarina of Time, like that was impressive. And I just keep thinking about how their original intent was to have a 7-day system instead of a 3-day system, and I'm like, okay, nah. You know, honestly, in hindsight, I'm glad they kept with 3 days and whatnot. And also, something that's really cool about that is that this was Eiji Aonuma's first, you know, credited directed Zelda game, and I'm like, this is how you put your foot through the door. This is what I like to see from like someone who got passed the torch from Miyamoto and whatnot. But yo, that's one of my favorite things about Majora's Mask. So one of my favorite things about Majora's Mask is that although, you know, when we come to Ocarina of Time, you know, obviously we're going to do a bunch of comparisons with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on the stream. When we come to Ocarina of Time, we had a good chunk of dungeons. You know, we had the 3 first dungeons, and then we had the Sage dungeons, you know, the elementals. And then we had the optional dungeon of the Gerudo training grounds. And, of course, the final dungeon of Ganon's Tower. When you put everything together, it's about like 10, 11 dungeons, if you want to count the Ice Cavern, whatever. But Majora's Mask only had like straight up 4 dungeons. I don't know if you want to count the moon as a dungeon, because that's kind of like, I feel that's like a half dungeon. It can be a dungeon if you wanted to, but I mean, it's not really. Like, if you want, you just go for, you know, the kid that's wearing Majora's Mask, throttle the boss, let's get it, right? But despite it only having 4 dungeons, I felt the game was a lot more, what's the word? Like, I have to be very particular when I say this, because I like Ocarina of Time more than Majora's Mask, so I don't want to word it in a way that's like, oh, Majora's Mask is better. But it's a lot more, it's more high octane than, you know, than Ocarina of Time, because I feel a lot more happens within that short amount of time, the 3 days. A lot more happens to, and you have to, you know, take into account of all the stuff that's going on when you compare Ocarina of Time to Majora's Mask and stuff. I feel Ocarina of Time was a more streamlined, straightforward adventure. Majora's Mask had a lot of things thrown at you. That's not particularly a bad thing, but I do know people complain about that in the original, especially when it comes to the difficulty factor of the game, which I didn't think was that difficult. It was just very stressful, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, because of the 3-day cycle, I would say that every 3 days you have kind of a little play session thingy, like you mess around in that time period. And in Ocarina of Time, it's just a very long journey, so it's similar to, I don't know, a normal train taking like 5 hours in a journey, or taking a lot of very fast individual small trains from station to station to station. That's kind of how Majora's Mask works in a way, I would say. It's not one methodical, long, drawn-out journey. It is just sequences of things happen, you reset it, and you do them again, and you do them in a specific order and with specific reasons to get specific results. And that's kind of the game, actually.
Right.
It's just the same 3 days over and over and over, and Ocarina of Time is really building to something, like a Lord of the Rings, you know?
Nah, I feel that. But that's why I wanted to ask you, is like, what do you feel is better in terms of, you know, if we're gonna do this compare and contrast between Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, what do you think, like, let's talk about, like, okay, gameplay, story, progression, aesthetic. Let's take those 4 things. All right, gameplay, progression, story, aesthetic. Which game between Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time takes the cake in your opinion?
I would personally say Majora's Mask still, because it's my favorite, baby! No.
That's fine, that's fine, that's completely
No.
Fine.
I need a better argument than just being my fave. Well, I mean, it's kind of down to personal preference, I would say. Personally, I like doing side quests in games a lot. I love those. I love little side stories that I can put a little bit of time in, and I get a rewarding end and rewarding stuff out of it, and then I move on with my life. My attention span is relatively short, because I also have ADHD. So I don't like very drawn out stuff because it just doesn't captivate me usually.
Right.
So I like more. So I like the structure in Majora's Mask that you have a lot of side quests which are very rewarding.
It throws a lot of stuff at you, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of, even if, for example, if I'm in Majora's Mask and I'm playing it and I'm like, I don't want to do the water temple. What is it again? Great Bay.
Yeah, the Great Bay. I was gonna say Lake Bed. I'm like, this ain't Twilight Princess.
Let's say I don't want to do Great Bay, yeah?
Right.
I'm just like, I'll just do some side quests, or I'll do that, or this, and that's what I love about it. I could just run around like a kid in a candy store and grab whatever the hell I want. It's great.
But you gotta do it with a time limit, though. So how do you feel about that?
Oh, that's fine. It gives you a bit of pressure. Otherwise, everything is too loose, and then you kind of lose the drive as well.
Right.
It doesn't have any tense moments if you get rid of that.
Speaking of
then
which,
it's not clutch.
Yeah. Speaking of which, how do you feel about how people said that Majora's Mask 3D? Geez, my hair is just out of whack. How do you feel about people saying Majora's Mask 3D was easier than Majora's Mask? Because I don't believe that. Well, a lot of people complained about, the addition of the feather statues and saving and, all that good jazz because, it was rough back in the day with Majora's Mask because for those who don't know, you can only save by using the Song Time, which resets resets the days, or by save and quitting at owl statues. You didn't, they took that away, and I feel that's, a good quality of life change, but a lot of people complained that it was, that the game got easier for that. I didn't think it got easier, just it got less stressful.
Well, I mean, it's just, they got rid of an inconvenience. I don't think it completely changes the game permanently or whatever. And a lot of people stress on then you just have to do the Song of Time and then gotta go back and you gotta sacrifice fast. All of that. But shut up! You can just go to an owl statue, just log out and just quit. What I mean. I always use the owl statues. I rarely use the when I went back in time to save. I rarely use that. I don't know what the problem is. It's just planning out a day a bit, and those owl statues are literally everywhere, and you can teleport to them later on.
Right.
What are they complaining about? It's just getting rid of the teleportation aspect, and that you get to the home screen. Aside from that, nothing changes.
Man.
So,
All right, and remember, Wily, if you have any type of tangent you just want to go off on, just bring it up and we'll go off on that. All right, don't be afraid.
I'll press up a storm, mister.
All right, go ahead.
No, just random cuss words.
Nah, you're good. But
demonetization, though, man.
It's fine. YouTube's been
a fear of yours.
Wait, what?
Is that not a fear of yours?
It really isn't.
Upload this to YouTube?
Nah, it really isn't because the way YouTube runs and stuff with its new profanity bar and whatnot. I try to keep it as truthful as possible. And if I do, then I only get so many ads or this little ads or just whatever. I haven't had to deal with that trouble or whatnot. But anyways, back to Majora's Mask, back to Zelda, back to all that good jazz. I'm pretty sure, Wily, you've read, Hyrule Encyclopedia, right?
I have looked through certain page. I don't own it.
Right.
I'll be upfront. I don't own it. I want to own it, but every time I see it, I'm like,
do I
don't know.
need it?
I can look it up on the internet. Do
Right.
I need to have it? But I kind of want it, but I haven't seen it. I'm not gonna buy it on the internet. I'm not that dedicated. But if I see it, I'll cop it. But
Right.
I don't have it yet.
So tell me, how do you feel? This is something that divided fans a lot. And for those who don't know in the chat, this is a thing from Hyrule Encyclopedia. Yeah, that's lore. So, according to Hyrule Encyclopedia, in Majora's Mask, the world, and this is the reason why we see repeated. Oh, I think he knows why. It's oh no. The reason why characters are repeated in Majora's Mask, Anju looks like the Cuckoo Lady from Ocarina of Time, so on and so forth, is because the Majora's Mask created Termina using both the Skull Kid and Link's memories, right? And crafted that world. The only real people within Majora's Mask is Link, Epona, Skull Kid, Tattletale, and the Happy Mask Salesman. Those are the only real people within Majora's Mask. Everyone else is a fabrication by the power of the Majora's Mask, right? And when Link leaves Termina, and the Happy Mask Salesman has the Majora's Mask in tow, when Link leaves Termina, the world goes poof. It just poof. It's gone. Just in the wind, right? It's gone, right? So, you know, I feel that people shouldn't get mad because Nintendo did the same shit with Conolent Island in in Link's Awakening. So how do you feel about that? Kaifei's not real.
I think it is. All right, it's weird because it completely goes against everything that you know about the game up until that point when they came out with that darn book that ruined a lot of things, but also created beautiful, beautiful things. I would say that it's fine. It's actually quite cool. When I first heard it, I was like, oh my god, what, bruh. I can live with this, you know. But then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, I mean, it might be like a Nintendo bringing out their own freaking theory on the whole thing, but it is cool though.
Right.
I'm not gonna bust it on the fact that it's lame or whatever, a lame excuse. It is cool, so I'll give it that. But I think I won't use that. Actually, I've in some theories I do, some theories I don't. I haven't covered Majora's Mask a whole lot in quite a long time because
it's his favorite game, guys. Like,
I have 40 videos on it. I'd eventually run out of things.
50 videos. 50.
How many? I don't. I think I have like 40 just dedicated on Majora's Mask. Like a lot.
Man,
So
like
eventually
I hardly do videos I do videos dedicated on one game, but I like doing theories that like span multiple games and take things from multiple games. But man,
yeah. Well, I mean, I like the shorter story stuff. Remember?
Right? Yeah, definitely.
So I covered the more shorter and single game stuff. That's because I like it.
Right. But yeah. So for those who didn't know, like, you know, everyone, like, if you're not Link, Epona, Tattletale, Skull Kid, and the Happy Mask Salesman, if you're not one of those characters, you are not real in Majora's Mask and whatnot. And people are asking about, well, what about Kaifei? What about people that don't exist in Ocarina of Time? The accepted consensus behind that is that while there's a good chunk of people created from Link's memories, everyone who wasn't in Ocarina of Time must have been someone that was created from the Skull Kid's memories, or you know, Tattletale's memories and whatnot. So, you know, that kind of gives them like the, what's the word I'm looking for?
Free pass.
Yeah, not the free pass. No, stop. Like it gives them the
open door.
Yeah, it gives them the open door to, like, you know, like the wiggle room to squeeze that in and whatnot. And still, despite them not being truly real, Link keeps the masks after he leaves Termina and whatnot. And another effed up thing, another messed up thing about what do you call Majora's Mask is the concept of the masks that transform you. And that is something that we have seen, you know, played out in-game for two specific characters. And that is Darmani, I was about to forget his name, Darmani and Mikao. I keep calling him Mikao or Mikao, whatever, the Zora, right? Where the masks that transform you contain the deceased spirits of those who have finally been able to pass on in peace, thanks to the Song of Healing or otherwise, right? And that really makes you wonder about not 2, but 3 other masks that also transform you. And that includes the Deku Mask, the Fierce Deity Mask, and the long overlooked Giant's Mask, right? And that makes you wonder whose deceased spirits are those, or who deceased spirits, you know, reside within those masks. It's pretty much agreed upon that the Deku Mask is the spirit of, you know, the Deku Butler, his deceased son. How did he die? We have no idea. You know, there's so many effed up, fucked up theories about that. And, you know, it's funny because the Majora's Mask manga actually deals with that a little bit. But remember, Legends of the mangas are not canon. None of them are. Don't say the Skyward Sword one from Hyrule Historic because it's not canon either. So, you know, it deals with that a little bit. But it's heavily, you know, agreed upon that the Deku Butler's child is within the, you know, the Deku Mask. But then that leaves the question of the Fierce Deity Mask. Do you have anything to say? Because I have a couple of theories. You know, I have a couple of, not my own theories, but theories that I've seen that relate to that. But do you have any take on that, Wily?
Fierce Deity. Oh, that's a subject, mate. I don't. I mean, there are multiple ways to approach it.
Right.
I know there are. There are
go
many
off.
theories.
Go off.
And personally, after like seeing so many of them and hearing of so many of them, I still don't really know what it is supposed to be. Is it like the arch rival of Majora's Mask? Is it some other evil demon that he has killed once and now is his trophy wife or whatever the hell?
Oh my god, what the fuck? All right, keep going. Yeah,
not trophy wife, but at least some sort of like his possession. I've seen that theory thrown around as well.
right.
But personally, I think I like the idea of what Nintendo told us, that it's just like, oh, the memories and from the people of Termina collected into a mask power. But it just doesn't make sense that Majora's Mask gives it to you then. That's the problem I have with it. Otherwise, I would have gone with it and would be like, ah, sure. While I do like the subject, but I think, while I do like the subject of it, I think it's a bit too over-discussed. There's so many different theories, and all of them are actually quite good.
You don't want to talk about Fierce Deity Link with your boy? What?
Well, I mean, I'll talk about Fierce Deity with you.
Right.
I think his armor looks sick. He's
yeah,
like,
no.
oh.
Yo, when I first got Fierce Deity, the mask and whatnot, I'm like, bro, Nintendo, Zelda did not have to go in this hard with this man. Like, he, honestly, you know, people say that's a cop-out, but if we're not gonna go by Green Tunic Link in various games, I say every now and every time I say, oh, who's your favorite design Link? Fierce Deity. Oh, you can't say that. Why not? He's a Link. That's Link. It's a Link. You know, the hero of time at his absolute strongest, right? And, you know, people are like, that's a cop-out, that's a cop-out. I'm like, no, man, you said Eddie Link. They're expecting me to say, like, Green Tunic Link in that case, you know. As much as I say stuff about it, if we're not going to count Fierce Deity, actually my favorite design of Link, which I'm going to ask you in a little bit, is actually Hyrule Warriors. Hyrule Warriors is actually my favorite design of Link, if we're going to take into account the Green Tunic. And I just, like, that design was just too clean. But what about you? If we're not counting Fierce Deity, what's your favorite? You know,
darn it, Fierce Deity, I can't pick it.
Yeah, because I know you're gonna pick it.
Fierce Deity is absolute sick. He's such a madman. I think if I would have to say it, this is, alright, I'll just go with the outfit that I rock in Breath of the Wild, because it is, like, my favorite setup ever. It's such a good looking Link. It's like Link in the complete Hyrulean Knight's armor. But instead of having the helmet, he has like the hat from Ocarina of Time, the Hero of Time hat. But besides that, it's just completely like the standard Hyrulean armor, not the royal one, but the normal one.
Like like the plates and stuff.
Yeah. And plate armor. So he wears like full plate armor and then his cap. I think that just looks epic.
Do you color it green in order to help it match a little bit?
No. I keep it just normal, like, steel color. I just keep it the same. I don't change it at all.
Well, actually, the steel doesn't change. It's like the cloth within the steel changes. That's the only thing that changes color.
Isn't it the lining on the steel plating as well?
Yeah, it's the lining a little bit.
Yeah, no, then I still won't do it. I'll just keep it the old.
Right.
I just like the look of plate armor a lot. And I always kind of, back in the... For example, when Twilight Princess came out and Link had... chainmail below his tunic.
Oh man, I lived to that.
I always thought that was really freaking cool. So when in Breath of the Wild they introduced that nice, so good looking armor set, they introduced it and I was like, yes, I just need the cap. And then I found the cap and I was like, yes, I'm gonna wear this the entire game.
Man, it's funny
because this just looks the best because it's like a fully cladded out, plated down Link. Oh.
Man, I like how we're going off into Breath of the Wild, but that's the power of the fifth dimension. But I mean, like, in Breath of the Wild, my favorite armor set, before I was able to get the Fierce Deity set, or the Cap of the Wild, is I like to get my Hylian tunic, and change it green, you know, have whatever pants, you know, the Hylian trousers, make it white, or make it black, or whatever, you know, whatever I was feeling, right? And then for a good minute, I would use the Twilight Princess cap, because I felt that's the one cap that would fit that motif the best, and I kind of like how Link's hair was with that cap. But the thing is, that cap is actually a little dark green. It's like darker green than the green that was in the Hylian tunic. So that bothered me so much. It bothered me. I was rolling around with it. Yo, when I finally got the Cap of the Wild, I'm like, oh, it's time. Give it, right? And I changed it green, and it was gone. It was like there, everything is complete. But
balance has been restored.
Indeed. Man, but veering back to Majora's Masks and stuff, considering the legacy with that game, and, something else that I would like to talk about, it's Majora's Mask related a little bit, but we have to talk about how we finally got a Nintendo Direct that everyone kind of liked with the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Direct, right? And they went in with Mario. Because, we were wondering if they were going to or not, but they did. They finally came through in September. But next year is Zelda's 35th anniversary, right? So, with that being said, if Mario's gonna get some sort of collection, I would like to see Zelda get some sort of collection on the Nintendo Switch. And that's the, polarized question I want to ask you when it comes to a prospective collection of Zelda on the Switch. Would you rather see Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, and possibly Skyward Sword HD in one collection on the Switch? Or would you want Ocarina of Time with Majora's Mask in HD on the Switch? It could be like HD remaster, HD port, or maybe like an HD version of the 3D games on the 3DS. What would you like?
100%. The 3 Wii U games, like Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and a bunch. 100%. 100%. The reason why is because while Majora's Mask 3DS is fun and all, it's not as good as the original. I don't like it as much. Nowhere near as. So, and then we're left with Ocarina of Time, which I find it's just I don't like Ocarina of Time, and I don't like Skyward Sword.
Whoa!
I know.
Whoa!
You like the more drawn out.
Literally 2
Zelda
and
game.
3. 2 and 3 of my favorite Zelda games. Why is it like
I
don't like HMK's favorite Zelda game number 2. I don't like HMK's favorite Zelda game number 3. Like disgusting.
We still need to finish our Skyward Sword beef, but
we can do that another day. Yeah.
But I would just rather have because Wind Waker is like almost a win when it comes to like a Zelda game. It's almost a win. It's so close to being phenomenal, like absolutely insane. And that's because in the beginning you need to get those darn pearls, and it doesn't matter where you go to or whatever you do. Pearls. I need them. You'll be steered back if you want to go, oh, I see an island. That's cool. You go there. Nope. Pearls. Come on, man. 3 pearls. And I'm like, if that wasn't a thing in the game, it would have been so much better.
You really don't like the concept of the pearls in wait, so you don't like gathering the pearls or putting the pearls in place?
I like gathering the pearls. I like putting the pearls in place, but I don't like that I'm forced to get the pearls and can't do anything else until I have all the pearls. A lot of other stuff is just locked off. You can't get to a ton of islands. That is my problem. I want to do whatever I want. I bought the game. I want to play whatever I want whenever I want it. And the game is stopping me because every time you go off the path too much, he's like, no, we need to go back to the dungeon. We need to get the pearls, young man. And I'm like, but I want to play the game.
But I mean, it only gets to you if you let it bother you. If Zelda is all about exploration sometimes. Definitely not Skyward Sword. Well, a little bit, but not definitely the other Zelda games that came before and after it or whatnot. So I mean, if you let the things oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. If you let it bother you that much, I mean, come on, it's all ones and zeros, it's numbers. I'm like, oh, Hyrule is gonna die. I'm like, no, Hyrule's gonna die if I lose. Right? It's only gonna die if I lose. I'm not gonna lose. I'm just gonna go and just do my own thing. So I don't think you can hold it against it because of that.
Well, I mean, it's still, the game is really good. Don't get me wrong. Wind Waker is great, but that's just the biggest flaw in my opinion together with the Triforce Gathering, because that's just kind of tedious. They could have done that. The HD remake did it better. But the pearls is my only hindrance with the game. I just let me as soon as I get the boat and we have the introduction section done, you might just force me to do just Dragon Roost Island. That's fine. And after that, I could just go nuts. I can go to any island on the map. I would just have that. I would just want that. That's my only critic. That's why I like the randomizer of Wind Waker a lot. because you can just do whatever you want straight away.
Okay, no. We're gonna talk about that. Okay, no. All right. We're gonna talk about that randomizer, and then like that'll be a good way to spin off into the Majora's Mask randomizer, which I have never completed right now. I'm telling you right now, the Wind Waker randomizer, that shit is hell. That shit comes out from the 7th circle of hell incarnate, man. Bro, like I'm not gonna lie, I had fun. I had fun because I was streaming it. If I ever played it on my own, I think I would tear my hair out because, bro. Finding okay, I had fun up until the point where it came time for me to get the Triforce shards, right? And dude, I was like, bro, I spent literal weeks looking for 1 or 2 specific pieces of the Triforce, right? And then I finally found the last shard. Wily, take a random guess. What quest? Just like I'm giving you one chance, one opportunity. One chance to shot in the dark. Which quest do you think finally gave me the last shard of the Triforce?
Picking up the sail?
No. Alright, so that was your chance. Remember those 2 ladies on Windfall that gossip about the photography man and that other old lady?
Yeah.
I was like, I completely forgot about that quest, and I did it, and then it's like, oh, here, thank you so much for getting us this picture and stuff. Last Triforce shard, and I'm like...
look, I'm not going to defend randomizer completely. It's just horseshit in so many ways, but, I mean, I just like the fact that I can just do whatever right away, and usually when I play a randomizer, I just give myself at least some decent starting bonuses. And when it comes to like the Triforce shards, it's just hell. That's just still a problem in the original.
They fixed it in HD. They fixed it in HD, so I mean,
yeah, they should make a HD randomizer.
I mean, the randomizer that I played takes aspects from HD, so I don't know which one you played, because the one I played that had the swift sail and everything.
I don't know if... wait, no, didn't I send you the one I had?
Yeah, you did, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Then it's... Yeah, no, then it's still a pain. Then it's just randomizer hell.
Yeah.
I mean, randomizers are flawed. I'm not going to defend randomizers. I would rather die than defend them.
Right.
They have cool aspects, but they are flawed.
Man, I love randomizers.
I've never finished one.
But
I've never finished one. It's too much effort.
Wait, you never finished an Ocarina of Time randomizer?
No, it's too much effort.
Dude, I eat that. Yo, nah. Okay, we need to. No, we need to grab our boys, get a multiplayer randomizer going, and you're gonna see how fun it really is. I cannot get enough of Ocarina of Time randomizer, multiplayer randomizer, because playing the randomizer really makes you understand like the ins and outs of the game to such a specific degree where you kind of like know it from the back of your hand. We're like, okay, so where's everyone at? Okay, I'm in Kakariko. I'm at the Lake Halea. I'm in the Gerudo Valley and whatnot. All right, what checks have we done? This check, this check, this check. All right, where are you? I'm over here. There's a check right there. There should be a grotto near your area. All right, and then like playing that so much really gets it hardwired in your head to like, play Ocarina of Time to the point where it's like, okay, let's see how the game is gonna try and trick me. And bro, I love the Ocarina of Time randomizer. But speaking of randomizers, the Majora's Mask randomizer is another circle of hell because of that 3-day system.
Circle of hell.
Yeah, it really is because of that 3-day system. Just like, I feel the best randomizer when it comes to Zelda games that I've played, that I've seen. I don't know if a Twilight Princess randomizer is up and running. I feel I feel it could work pretty nicely, whatnot. But out of the randomizer I've played, which is Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, and Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time works the best only because of how condensed the world is, right? Wind Waker, that world is ginormous, right? He's like, oh, but it's mostly water. Like, that's kind of the point. That's one thing I hold against it. But for me, Majora's Mask randomizer, it doesn't fall apart, but it's just so tedious to the notion of, you're gonna have to keep resetting days, and every time you reset a day, you reset certain chests. Of course, they still contain the same thing that when you open them the first time in one of your runs or whatnot, but you're gonna have to like get either like a notebook ready, or pull up a Word document, and it's like, okay, the
100%.
key, the boss key to the Great Bay Temple is in the chest behind the clock tower, and blah blah blah, and all that shit. And I'm like, and there's so many chests. And then that's one thing that the Majora's Mask randomizer taught me. That Majora's Mask actually has a lot of fucking chests and a lot of fucking checks. Like a lot more than I originally, envisioned. And you have to like know all of them. And bro, when you get a dud, you get it. When you get a dud, you get a dud. And then, considering how the game flows, that you can't, access certain areas without certain masks or items, which are locked behind chests, it really puts a damper on how to figure out how to go forward when you think you're out of options. And, that's something with all randomizers. Majora's Mask is just... I'm sorry, I had to go off for a little bit. All right.
No, go nuts. It is weird in that aspect, because I've done it before as well, and eventually I'm like, all right, I can do this, so I do all the things. And then I miss items, and I'm like, darn it, what else can I do? And I didn't write anything down, because I just don't document it, and that was the mistake. And I tried, and I just didn't know anything.
Right.
I was like, well, how am I supposed to do this? And then I looked through the cheat sheet, and I was still confused, and I still didn't know what I had to do, or what my next step should be.
Right.
It is such a hard game to randomize. It's brutal. It can really be brutal.
Man.
And I think it's if you're a speedrunner, it's probably a dream, because that game, you can do so many things in it, it's crazy. So it's probably a dream to do as a speedrunner, not using the most recent glitches that they found, where they can actually just spawn in any items they want and even teleport to the moon, if I'm correct.
Right. Oh yeah, because they could glitch through a certain area that leads them into the moon.
It's crazy. They can do, but if you just skip that and just use the OG glitches before they could do moon skip and like spawn in items and stuff, it's basically arbitrary code execution type shit. Before they could do that, if you just use all those tricks, I bet the randomizer is tons of fun. But I don't have the knowledge of the game in such detail. I can't. My brain. I need to document it, or I'm gonna fail, and it's just very tedious and painful. So I've tried it, and I was like, no, I do this for enjoyment. And when I lose the track of I do this for my enjoyment, then I'm like, nah. Sometimes I'll be honest, sometimes I can bitch about video games and be weak about them and just whine and whatever the hell, because, for example, I was playing Super Mario Galaxy 2 and I was annoyed as hell by the motion controls because I hooked it up to a controller and all, and I had a shoddy controller scheme, so I got very frustrated. And I'm just like, this game fucking sucks, I hate it. But
you can't blame it because of that.
No, it's just my dumb rage at that point, but that's... Usually when I'm just playing a game, my observations are 50-50. Sometimes, yeah, it's valid. Sometimes, no, I'm just pissed. The game annoys me, or I suck, or I have trouble with things. So I think usually my judgment of video games is better when I don't actually play them, but just objectively look back like, breathe in, breathe out, and I can just objectively think about them and script them. Then my opinion is probably best, but not during the game. And I also cursed up a storm when playing Majora's Mask randomizer.
Nah, like, I definitely get the sentiment is like, when I play games for enjoyment, and then when I'm done having fun, then I don't want to play a certain games in a certain way and whatnot. And then, everyone's own concept of fun is different, especially when it comes to people who play, like completionists versus speedrunners and whatnot. People get the thrill by putting that timer on them, and even completing a certain time. People get the thrill, the enjoyment of finding every little thing you could find out about the game and getting everything 100%. Some people just want to beat the game and whatnot. So I definitely get that sentiment, but I feel when it comes to randomizers, especially Majora's Mask, and even with Majora's Mask, not even in the sense of a randomizer or whatnot, one thing that I definitely think is something that is a very likable factor for me when it comes to Majora's Mask is that I don't know if you feel this is what I'm gonna extend this question to the chat as well. I don't know if you feel some sort of like a competitive or like a competitive spirit within that of Majora's Mask that isn't within other Zelda games like Ocarina of Time. Do you feel that? Do you get what I'm trying to say or no?
Let me first clap back at chat.
Oh, now I see that. So
Yeah,
it's like Dr. Whiny. Yeah, I saw that.
Bro, no, I like, just to reiterate, I like difficult games, but I will bitch about it when I play it. Even when I play it on my own, I get frustrated with games, but if it's not challenging, it's not fun. I like playing games with harder difficulties, but I'll bitch about it, that's for sure. 100%, I'll whine about it, but I'll enjoy it. It's weird. I know. Majora's Mask competitive. I mean, competitively, it's a good game, I would say. I think it's like when you... Since I used to do a lot of speedrun stuff on like my second channel, Game Architects, rest in pieces.
Jesus.
Thank you, YouTube algorithm. That was fun.
You have to learn how to wrestle with it, how to like just get past it, man. Because I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, I know. But like, it's a very good game to like race. I would say, both when speedrunning and when not speedrunning. It's quite a good game to race. So yeah, in a competitive sense, I would say it's cool. That's why the speedrunning scene in Majora's Mask is so big. But now it has kind of become a bit dull, in my opinion, since they've found like the holy grail of glitches and can literally get to the end of the game in less than an hour.
Right.
Easily. Like, easily. They can spawn in anything. So, like, but it's crazy, I swear to God. If you can do it, you can do anything. You're literally God in the game at that point. You can load anything. You can get access to anything. It's arbitrary code execution is basically you can program whatever you want into the game and summon it.
Right.
Items, cutscenes, events, whatever the hell.
Like
that's basically
the way that you move around the game basically like helps write the numbers in writes the number into the code in order for something to trigger and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, you basically, when you walk around or like press certain buttons, you give certain code executions to the code in order to do the action that you're doing. And you can use that in certain orders to you first need to access deeper into the code, which with again a series of glitches that work together that somehow get you further. And then you get more access, and then you can actually write code into the game. And then you, with just those moves, you can write code, and even with a series of events, you can get whatever you want, basically.
Right.
It's great. You can use literally anything you want. It's absolutely, once the door is open, oh my God, everything falls out of the closet. It's crazy. So many games where that is discovered, the game just becomes kind of dumb. So many 2D Mario games have it as well, where they just know a sequence of things to do and they can get to the end credits because they just load the end credits like 20 seconds.
Like I saw it happen on a speedrun with I saw it happen on a speedrun with Ocarina of Time actually. So
yeah, you can also do it in Ocarina of Time.
Man,
arbitrary code execution also exists in ways in Ocarina of Time. You can you can do crazy shit in Nintendo games because their coding is bust.
Jesus Christ.
They always crack it wide open. It takes some time, but eventually they get to the cookie jar and then they'll go nuts.
Man,
it's crazy though.
Like I like how, you know, we kind of, I don't want to say devolve, but we went off the tangent of like, yo man, Majora's Mask is one of those games that you can really exploit, you know, but like I feel like every game on the N64 kind of like follows suit with the idea of it being easily exploitable and whatnot. Yo, why is this thing not playing? Like it always gets paused every now and again. I don't get it. Anyways, yeah, definitely. Majora's Mask is definitely one of those, like, definitely, like, it's super exploitable and whatnot. And, you know, I don't blame people for trying to exploit the game in order to, like, you know, complete it in a faster or simpler way when it comes to speedrunning or any type of competition and stuff like that, because that game is rough. That game is hella rough. Like, I don't know the record. I'm pretty sure it'll be brought up in the chat. I don't know the world speedrunning record for 100% in Majora's Mask is, because I can imagine that is quite the mission, considering the game's flow. Oh, I'm sorry. The game's flow of, like, you know, the 3-hour day cycle and what 3-day cycle and whatnot. And, you know, Lord, I can just imagine. The what?
Do you want to know the record?
Yeah, do you know the 100%? The 100% speedrunning record, yeah.
If you want to know any record of any game, just go to speedrun.com for the people who want to know. The number one is currently by Pope Squidward from America, who has 4 hours and 24 minutes and 12 seconds.
Yo, speedrunners are they're insane.
And
4 hours?
All right, listen up. And the any percent, because of all the trickery.
Because the 100%.
Is Key 9698 from America, who has 24 minutes and 50 seconds.
24 minutes. Ooh. I was actually
just expecting the end credits.
Yeah, I was actually expecting that to be a lot quicker from the way you were talking about how the game could literally be cracked open pretty quickly.
It has. All right. If you want to know, a time from a year ago. This is the best time, which was the best time from around a year ago. Was around 1 hour and 18 minutes.
Ooh.
So it has gone from 1 hour to 1 hour and 18 minutes.
Okay, to really put that into perspective. That's yikes. That's man.
Because the problem is the reason why it's 24 minutes is because for your little trick to work, you need to go to the Deku Palace. You need to be at the Deku Palace. That's why it takes some time. So you need to do some horse shit in the beginning, and then go to the Deku Palace, and then you can do your sequence of tricks, and then you're God.
Right.
And then you just finish the game. You just end it.
So yeah, okay, so yeah, getting to the Deku Palace is a good minute, definitely. So I can see all the time just straight up taking all the time it's taken to get there, and then I can feel like speedrunners and people just watch speedrunners. All right, they're just literally on the edge of the seat waiting for him to get to the Deku Palace, and then as soon as he's there, he's just gonna work his magic, right? And I'm like, bro, man, that's why I'm like, the weird shit speedrunners are able to accomplish thanks to moves like this. I'm like, bro, I understand it with N64 games, but if you're able to do any of that kind of stuff with games later on, then I'd be like, jeez, that's...
You don't even want to know what they could do in Twilight Princess.
All right, hit me. What's the quickest time?
Oh wait, I don't know the quickest time from my head, but no. One funny trick, in my opinion, in Twilight Princess is that you can actually kind of you have Epona, right?
Right.
You can clip Epona. I think they even busted they also, a lot of the glitches from the normal one are also in the HD version. They can also do a lot of that trickery in HD as well. But you can kind of when you have those weird jagged hillsides close to Hyrule Castle, or the parts where the river run down, you have those jagged mountain edges type of stuff. You can glitch or kind of clip into that stuff. If you angle yourself properly and ride into it, you can kind of squeeze through everything, and then you end up in a sort of nothingness, because you're outside, you're out of bounds, basically, at that point. And you can just ride almost anywhere.
Right. Jeez.
You just kind of, you just, with very precise movement, and precisely going through a certain portion, you just ride your horse through the mountain, sort of. Or mountain edge.
You like Skyrim physics?
He clips through, and then you can just skip whole portions, because you just ride on a flat plane with nothing in your way. And if you hit a loading zone, then it's triggered, and yippee.
Yo, what's with Epona just breaking the game of Twilight Princess? I just heard about this.
Epona's very glitchy.
Yeah, I heard about this, and then of course when you're able to hack into your Wii thanks to Epona in Twilight, you can hack. Guys, the original way back in the day to install Homebrew onto your Wii was through Epona in Twilight Princess, and I'm like, bro, okay, it just really makes me understand Epona was a mistake. Epona was a mistake.
Epona was very broken
in Twilight Princess, but we all still love her and whatnot.
Do
but...
you want to know the time?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
The any percent is it's not as fast as the N64 games, but still, the any percent for Twilight Princess is by Kies from Germany, and it's 2 hours and 54 minutes and 9 seconds. And
wait, say that one more time.
The any percent is 2 hours and 54 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And 9 seconds.
All right, that's any percent. I was about to say 100%, no way. I'm like, okay, any percent. All right.
All right, the 100% is by Adam from America, and it's 6 hours, 35 minutes, and 49 seconds. So 6.5 hours ish.
Man, I'm out here with my 100% files that I've like put like 50 hours into. I'm like, man, what?
Can you even imagine focusing for like 6 hours straight? That hard.
Yeah, and no, yeah, that's why, you know, more power to speedrunners, because like when they're like shooting for the stars in that aspect, they have to be like frame perfect. And when they're not frame perfect and they just screw up one thing up, you're like, that's the end of the run. That's the end of the run. I mean, like, I feel there's pockets.
Just reset it.
There's literally pockets within a run that allows them to afford certain time, and if you mess up in that time, then you could do something faster later on in the run in order to, like, you know, help save the run. But still,
there are certain moments. There are certain moments where it's just dead. One great example, for example, to get back to Majora's Mask.
Good.
The postman. You know the little mini game with the postman
where you're supposed to get the time.
Yeah. That is not based really on skill, because there's like so much RNG involved.
Really?
Yes, there is so much RNG involved with that. It's a huge run killer. It's a huge run killer. You can get it, like, if you're unlucky, you can get it like 10, 20, 30 times. You need to do it. It's a huge run killer. And RNG is, it all depends. I don't remember it correctly, so I might be wrong with this, so take it with a grain of salt, but I think it had something to do with the frame rate. Because it's based on
yeah, it
frame
makes
rate.
sense.
And it's like,
the original
one, frame, and then you're fucked.
The original Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, if you guys didn't know, ran at 20 frames per second, so yeah.
So, yeah, it was a frame rate. If I remember correctly, it was a frame rate thing that made it RNG-esque, because it depended on... like the timing your timing would be correct, for example, but it depends. It was RNG if it landed on frame X or Y, and X was yay and Y was nah, and that was kind of how it worked. And I've seen so many people just lose runs over it. It's crazy.
Right.
It's the biggest trap in 100% Majora's Mask for sure. If you speedrun it, 100%. That's gonna mess up your day. But now, with the new glitches, it's all irrelevant. Well, I mean, I don't know if they allow that glitch in 100%, to be honest.
Nah,
because they would kind of make it... They couldn't spawn in any item. It's kind of breaks the purpose of the 100% run. So I don't know if they...
Right, no. Something like that, I definitely don't think that would be allowed. Because, like, you know, the point is to gather all items. Like, you know, as items, not just literally have it appear in front of you. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that, because... can you imagine, like, 100%... Aren't there speedruns that is, like, 100% any tactic run? Like, 100%...
Well, you can do whatever... You can do whatever you want, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you have that. Because in Ocarina... I know in Ocarina of Time, at least, when you do the 100% run, you can't do... a lot of horse shit that you can do in Ocarina of Time. Because Ocarina of Time has been busted open for quite a while now. So they can also spawn in a bunch of stuff and load cutscenes, and you can do so much stuff in that game. But I know with 100% they won't allow you to spawn in any items. So but there are categories where you can. And then I know there's one version of it where you go to the water temple, and in the water temple you end up spawning in like a ton of items. But there are multiple ways of doing it, and I know there are categories where you're allowed to do it, where you can actually do it. But overall, the 100% nah, they won't allow you, unless it's like some sort of weird off category.
Right, but I'm just like literally, I was ready for, you know, like talking about like lore, stories, characters, and stuff. But I mean, like, I find this like really interesting, and I'm blown away about certain things. So, I mean, like, as I dabbled in watching, because I love watching SDQ, games done,
Q.
Games done quick. So SDGQ.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, am I getting this right? But I love watching that, because, you know, I love seeing things in the competitive light and whatnot. It's definitely not for me, you know, like, oh, I get questions all the time, yo, HMK, you're gonna speedrun this, you're gonna speedrun that, and I'm like,
yeah, same, I can't do
no.
it, mate. I understand, I understand
that's
it,
not for me. I like watching, but I mean, it ain't for me. But I enjoy watching them and, you know, learning about some of the tricks, because I knew of certain tricks, certain playtimes, certain, you know, goals to beat and whatnot. But seeing certain things in action getting done and learning about new stretch stuff, I'm like, just like, bro, man, I didn't even know you can crack open Majora's Mask like this and what stuff. And here's the question that I want to ask you, because I know you have that foot in the door a little bit more than me. From what you've known and what you've seen, this is not something I'm asking you to Google search, but from your personal experience, what is the most exploitable Zelda game right now?
Also, little clarification for the chat. I'm not necessarily an expert on this. I've just done a bunch of videos on it, but I don't know everything, and it's a bit foggy because I haven't made a video on something like that for a year or something, or two even. What is the most exploitable Zelda game at this point? In terms of being able to do a lot of different things, not just get to the end or spawning items or something overpowered like that, but just versatility as well, I would probably say Ocarina of Time. There are so many glitches in that game. It is, you could get a 4-year degree for it. I swear to God, there's so much in it. It's crazy, and so many different options you have with certain things you can do, like teleporting to completely different cutscenes or places, or it's crazy what you can do with it.
Right.
It's crazy. So I would say Ocarina of Time is the most exploitable by far.
Oof.
There are so many tricks.
But like, I can imagine, because I know that, you know, when the Zelda team wanted to translate Ocarina of Time over to, you know, the 3DS and stuff, I remember an interview saying that they wanted to keep a lot of like the really funky stuff intact in order for it to, like, you know, completely replicate the feel of the original game and whatnot. And I know there's a lot they kept in, but I know there's a lot they not a lot, but a good chunk they took out or whatnot.
Well, in the 3DS version.
Yeah, in the 3DS version, yeah.
The 3DS version is a whole other story. That's also a good one.
Really?
Yes, 3DS version of Ocarina of Time, they, alright, Grezzo was like, we are boys, Grezzo, we have been working on that 3D life, my man. It is completely original code. And then the speedrunners came around the corner and they looked at the files and was like, nah, this is just copied from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
This is just an adjusted version of Ocarina of Time. It is completely copied. They copied it over huge chunks of the game. There's some custom stuff here and there, but it is mostly copied over. Even though they said it's mostly, they programmed a lot of it, but it just didn't. It was a lot of copying, and they ended up fixing. They were like, bruh, we're gonna keep in some glitches, but some are gonna get changed, boys. We can't have this. And then they were like, alright, we're gonna... I saw a speedrun of it all. And then they were like, alright, we'll change these things. These glitches are gone now. Yeah, the game is fixed. And then they delivered it to everyone in the world. And then the speedrunners were like, I found a bunch of new glitches because you changed that stuff and that had effect on other stuff, and now I can do completely new things.
Jeez.
Or the same things with other means, you know?
Right.
So they just completely broke the game again because they found other pathways and new options because of the changes, and they can still do so many crazy things in that game. That run is a roller coaster. It goes up, down, left, right. It goes from the beginning to the end to halfway through, and then like the story is completely chopped up in that speedrun. It goes to like completely different sections, like from one to the other. It's, what are we even talking about? And then all of a sudden, whoa, you're an adult, and then all kinds of other stuff happens, and it's so out of order. It's crazy. It's completely out of order, that speedrun. And Nintendo thought, hey, we fixed this, and all of a sudden the game is not as broken anymore, but they just, while sealing other doors, they took the locks away from other doors, and
right.
those were open now.
Like, like, it's funny because, like, I really like what they did with Ocarina of Time 3D, and I like what they did with Majora's Mask 3D, but what you're telling me is kind of sounding like they did kind of, like, sloppy work, but, like, you know...
Yeah, kinda, in a
really?
way. It was kind of sloppy. They're good versions of the games, don't get me... Well, I mean, Majora's Mask 1 has some things to be desired. But overall they work well, and it's all fine, and whatever, and they could easily copy it. That was actually not a problem. It's just that they stressed about it, that they didn't copy it, which is just not true. And everybody in the community is like, I mean, so what that you copied it? Why? What? It's fine if you copied it, but it's not fine if you say we didn't copy it. And well, no. It's original code, I swear. And then it isn't. You know. Then it's kind of like, what are you doing? It would have been acceptable if it was just a lot of, which it is, a lot of copied code,
Right.
and stuff, and assets and whatever the hell. That's all fine. It's just, it should have been straight up about it. That's just what's weird about it. I don't hate him for it, and they're not bad, but it isn't sloppy for them to copy it, in my opinion, because it would just be wasted time, to be honest.
Right.
Because they could just adjust it, and it still works fine, and everybody loves it as a buggy mess. In terms of not
Listen,
that
all
it
right,
doesn't
listen.
not that it doesn't run well, but that it's exploitable. That's a better way of saying it.
Yeah, I
People
know,
like
but it's not a buggy mess in my, like, it can be
No,
exploited.
that was sorry, I framed
Yeah.
that completely wrong. Buggy mess is completely wrong. I mean, exploitable. That's what people want.
Right. It's not a bug, it's a feature.
It runs fine. It is beautiful. I love it. I'm glad they came out, and I'm glad they did it, but it does have exploits.
It does,
Which
it really
is fine.
does.
The original has that as well. That's the charm of it.
Man.
The fact that it has a lot of exploits and that you can mess around with it in completely new ways is actually quite fitting for Ocarina of Time, since it's such a big speedrun title. So I'm only happy with it.
One of the best. I mean, like, when you have that's not completely true. I was gonna say, like, when you have a game as beloved as Ocarina of Time, of course, that's like one big, speedrunning target. But I mean, there's other obscure games I've been seeing in, like, games done quick and stuff, that people speedrun it because it's a fun game to speedrun. And I'm like, I see people running games like I forgot that PS1 game, Tumba. I played it myself on the PlayStation 1 back in the day, and I saw people speedrunning that game. I'm like, oh dang, I have not seen this game in years. So I mean, it's cool to be talking about the speedrun aspects when it comes to, like, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. But gear back to specifically Majora's Mask, and I would say, since we're on the train of Majora's Mask 3D, Ocarina of Time 3D, Majora's Mask 3D versus the original stuff, what is, here's an interesting question I want to ask you. What is something that you liked going from original to 3D for Majora's Mask, and what's something that you didn't like going from original to 3D in Majora's Mask?
I think the thing I like the most about going from normal to the 3D version in Majora's Mask is the mask designs. So many of them look a lot better. I'm not gonna lie. While I do like the originals a lot as well, I think the new ones are also really cool. Like the Garo mask, the new one, I love it. I love it. It looks great. I absolutely love it. So I think the new designs for the masks, a lot of them were kept the same, or similar at least. But the ones that were changed were nice additions, in my opinion. Some of them I even like them more than the original. That's one thing I like a lot. The other thing, and aside from that, like the minor conveniences, like the little bar below, and like the better scheduling and all the new tools you had in order to make your way through the 3-day cycle and everything. But that's not something you pay a lot of attention to in the game, at least. But it is a really good feature, I would say.
All right, and that's what's something that you didn't like, translating.
I think, what do I hate the most?
Ooh, here we go.
It's kind of hard because there are a couple of things I hate about the 3D version that I just don't like it. It's I think I would have to go with the boss of the Stone Tower Temple.
Oh man! Oh!
It's cool.
Man!
It's
Twin
cool.
Mold can get out of here, bro.
It's cool. Like, the idea of it is, it's odd, but it's cool. I get the idea. But it's very...
I hated it.
People have looked into it. It's actually the code. It's wrong. They have like a reset. Yeah, they have a reset for it.
I keep wondering because I'm like, I keep slamming the dude down, but nothing's happening.
Yes. You need to hit it a certain amount of times before it like buries down or whatever the heck it does, like a certain action. And if you don't hit it enough in that time period, it will reset and you'll have to try again. and they set it too high. It's just it shouldn't actually be, if I remember correctly, that it didn't reset. It shouldn't have reset, but it resets. So you can't get to the animation of you being able to like flail it around in the whole shish kebab and do enough damage and enough hits to actually beat it. That's why so many people have problems with it.
Man,
it's crazy how many people have problems with it.
You know, I honestly thought it was just like a poorly designed, boss fight. Bro, I honestly did not know it was fucked in the code. And like, cause there's so many times I've played that boss fight, and I'm like, bro, what is this damage? Like, what's the damage of this boss? Like, why is it not dying? Like, bro, I would spend like almost an hour fighting that thing sometimes, and I'm like, it's not me. There has to be something wrong, and now I know. Wow, the more you know, guys, the more you know.
There is legit something wrong with it. There's also a huge list of Redditors who have complained about it, and there are even a whole forum topics on it and everything. It's a real problem, and it's because of the coding.
But I mean, like, 3DS games are capable of getting updated. Why can't they just update the fight in order to make it not reset?
I don't know.
Yo, I like Wily. Wily's like, yo, I don't know. I'm not customer support. Like,
I am not customer support. I cannot help out.
Man, I can't.
That's crazy how that's that broken. But that's probably the thing I hate the most.
No, I agree. When it comes to the translations between, in my take, when it comes to Majora's Mask over to the 3DS version, the things I like going forward. I mean, I guess, I agree with the designs of the masks and whatnot. Oh, one thing I really liked actually was the fact that you can manually select the hour with the Song of Double Time. I actually love that feature because, you know, 6-hour increments was kind of a chore, especially if you're trying to get to certain parts of the day in order to complete certain side quests and whatnot. And then, like, sometimes you would either have to not use it or use it and just wait, and sometimes you overshoot it and just like that's a bother. But the Song of Double Time allowing you to choose the hour, that I felt that was one of my favorite things going forward into the 3DS version. You know, people say about, like, you know, oh, it's busted, you know, the feather statues and blah blah blah. You know, nah, I like that Song of Double Time change. That's me. One thing I actually didn't like, and I don't care what anybody says, like, they did it in order to make the game more like easier to understand or straightforward or blah blah blah. Yo, Wily, I really did not like the change in placements of the masks. Let me tell you how much I was panicking, you know, trying to understand where the Giant's mask was in the Stone Tower. I'm like, where is this mask? I'm not crazy. It was supposed to be here. Where is it? I'm like, you know, fuck it. I'm just gonna go fight Twin Mold. I'll find it later. You know, I'm running out of time, and I had to go fight it. And then, lo and behold, the mask fucking appears during the fight, and I'm like, who approved this? Who approved this?
I know. I mean, I don't like it because usually it doesn't turn out that well, like the new places they've ended up in. It doesn't work for the game in some of them at least, and it just annoys old players. So why even do it? But they messed around with Majora's Mask in so many odd ways because they were just kind of dissatisfied with it themselves. So you cannot remake something properly that you don't love. They have said, like, Aonuma has said that he's not proud of Majora's Mask.
But
he has a lot of trouble with it, and a lot.
Oh no, I can imagine making that game must have been hell stressful.
Oh yeah. You probably didn't know this, but you know the intro with you know, at the beginning of the game that, like, the Deku's like attack Link sort of in that vision from Majora's Mask.
Yeah, was that like a nightmare he was having? That
it was a nightmare for him.
I believe it, yeah.
So he isn't actually that proud of it, so that explains why so many things, odd things even, that weren't necessary, changed in Majora's Mask. There were a lot of things that weren't necessary that were changed.
Man, I could just imagine the look on his face when Operation Moonfall was going on. When, if you guys didn't know, when Ocarina of Time 3D, came to the 3DS, people loved it, and they're like, okay, where's Majora's Mask? Where's Majora's Mask? And for like 4 whole years, they were hounding down Nintendo in order to get it done, right? And then I could just imagine after hearing those words from Taima, is that, like, Aonuma was not proud of Majora's Mask, and now hearing all these people hound him down to put Majora's Mask on 3D, on the 3DS, he must have been like, bro, I don't want to touch this game no more, bro, I don't, and I'm like, God, and they're like, let's make it, let's do it, damn, that must have been a nightmare.
Yeah, I bet he didn't want to do it, actually.
Right.
It's just, I don't know why he struggles so much with it, because at the end of the day, it is a good game. It is just, it's weird. It's weird in ways, don't get me wrong, but it is a good game. I think he just doesn't see it himself, and it could be because of, I don't know, maybe there's something personal tied to that whole
I really
period
think it
where
is.
he had all that stress, and maybe it affected his relationships in ways, I don't know.
No, because I mean, like, for some people, the destination, the like or dislike of the journey sometimes outweighs the destination, right? Sometimes, it's like, oh, we'll get there, that made the journey worth it. And then some people say, like, we got there, but at what cost, type shit. So I feel for Aonuma, it could have been one of those situations like, okay, we got here, we made a game that everyone likes, but I mean, I didn't like making this shit. It must have been something like that.
He ended up in developer hell. I mean, it was probably developer hell for him. I mean, let's be honest.
Right.
100% developer hell.
Nah,
but I mean, out of painful and terrible things come beautiful art.
It does. What's the word? Rough times create strong. Tough times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times lead to weak men. There was like a whole like poem tangent on that, and I'm like, huh. So I mean, I feel
you're getting philosophical.
A little too much. But I feel we're nearing up the time because I don't want to keep you up too much. And bro, I had this fire ass steak quesadilla, and it honestly almost knocked me out before this stream. And it is knocking me out right now. So we're gonna go off and have our closing remarks, but definitely we're gonna have Tama here for another stream when it comes to the 5th dimension. But is there anything else you want to sign off when it comes to Majora's Mask?
Majora's Mask is a good game, and if you've never played it before, then that is very sad, and you should probably give it a try. You can play it on literally anything.
Right. And hopefully, if Nintendo really likes to, get down and dirty with the 35th anniversary and whatnot, maybe you could see Majora's Mask on the Switch. But, man, yeah, if you guys maybe, like Majora's Mask is definitely one of those games. I need to make a list of, like, games you guys need to play, and Majora's Mask is definitely there near the top.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But, guys, thank y'all so much for coming on.
Wait, can I say one last thing?
No, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Alright, chat, I have one last final message for you. Eat your veggies. Alright. That was it.
Yeah, the doctor says so.
That was my piece.
Yeah, the doctor says to eat your veggies. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for coming on out to the 5th dimension when it comes to Dr. Wily, HMK on Majora's Mask. We're going to go ahead and raid another member of the 5th dimension right now because that is, the whole point of the team and whatnot. We're going to go ahead and raid, let's see. We're going to raid Keyblade Brett. Keyblade Brett is currently streaming Kingdom Hearts 2 in a part of a marathon. So I hope you guys enjoy their content and whatnot. It's going to be grand. And I will see you guys next week for the next episode of the 5th dimension. And I'll see you guys next time on an HMK stream. But until then, this has been HMK and Dr. Wily. Thank y'all so much for coming out. And we'll check you guys later.